We are being joined by Mark Merowitz from New York City. Mark is a professor at State University of New York Maritime College. He's also a lawyer. Mark, great to see you. What are the potential implications of the Supreme Court's decision to hear Trump's claim of immunity from criminal prosecution? And how might it impact the ongoing election conspiracy case against him?
Well, let's face it, these are all connected. And in particular, the ballot case that you talked about in Illinois, the latest one, in Colorado, in Maine, the Secretary of State. The Supreme Court is definitely going to put the kibosh and stop that, because you cannot stop people from being on the ballot. At the same time, the immunity case, most likely the court will not agree with President Trump's claim that he's immune. I mean, let's be real here. You know how many cases there are against Trump? I mean, I made a list. Stormy Daniels' hush money, the Jack Smith case you mentioned, the ballot case, defamation case, the rape case, the tax and real estate case, you name it. I mean, it's a torrent. It's just a flood of cases, and they're just coming like a tsunami. But it seems, at least from Trump's perspective, is his paranoia real, that they're actually trying to keep him off the ballot and stop him from running for president in 2024? It doesn't seem like a crazy point, because these cases are just, they're really, many of them are off the wall, honestly, if you read them. In this case on Trump, his argument about immunity, there's no way that's going to prevail. No way.
Mark, what about the Supreme Court's ruling on Trump's removal from the ballot? How might that impact his presidential campaign? We talked about Illinois and other states. And what could be the broader consequences, for example, for the Republican Party and the electoral process as a whole?
Look, the Colorado ballot case, the 14th Amendment, was never and the purpose of it had nothing to do with what the Colorado Supreme Court says it relates to. The 14th Amendment was about Confederates who fought in the Civil War. It is enforced by Congress. It doesn't mention the president. It requires someone to engage in insurrection. Trump has never been charged or even indicted for insurrection. And on and on. And it talks about an officer. It doesn't mention the president. And also, it talks about holding office, not running for office. There are more holes in this case than a Swiss cheese, honestly. And if you look through it and think about it a bit, you realize that what you're going to end up with here is a political decision from the Supreme Court. And why is that? Because Chief Justice Roberts is concerned that the Supreme Court, which has, as you said, a 6-3 conservative majority, is going to lose its credibility if all it does is back up Trump's claim. So while clearly they need to stop this idea that we woke up in the morning and now Illinois has a case where they're throwing him off the ballot, and maybe tomorrow some other state will throw him off the ballot, that will cause so much chaos in our presidential election system that we won't be able to hold an election. So they're going to stop that. At the same time, the thing about immunity, his point is, well, official acts while I'm president are immune. Now, is that true or not? Is there basis in the Constitution? His point is, well, if you want to do something to a president and kick them out, you've got to impeach them and convict him. And he says, you already impeached me twice and didn't convict me. And now you want to come after me for what I say are official acts, in the sense that Trump argues that what he did on January 6th was purposed to deal with election fraud. And he was president, sitting president. So you can imagine that if the Supreme Court said that presidents were immune, and even the Circuit Court was talking about kinds of crazy examples, sending Navy SEALs to commit, crimes and things like that. Can you imagine the implications of that? So the Supreme Court is holding on to its reputation here, and it needs to make decisions that are going to be accepted by the population of the United States as credible and fair and appropriate. So ballot case, that one, they've got to stop that.
The American people are watching. Yeah.
And at the same time, the
Mark
immunity
Merowitz, thank you so much for all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I was
Okay.
going to say that
We'll talk
the
soon.
immunity
Thanks.
case. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.